Hey, brother.
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, doing great, man. Doing amazing. Doing
Yes,
amazing.
sir.
Man, great to see you, brother. It's brother William.
Yes, sir. Just Will,
Awesome.
man, and you,
Yeah, yeah. I just go by Jerome myself.
Jerome, most definitely, man. Nice to meet you, brother.
Yeah, man. I was just saying, man, I just got done with some meditation and preparation. We got
Uh-huh.
the breath God in the house,
Most
man. I love
definitely.
it.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, family. How's your day been going so far?
It's been going good, man. Just relaxing, man. How's your day been going?
Man, it's been going wonderful. I got some things done already. We're kind of like ahead of schedule right now, so feeling good. I got a nice workout in. Like I said,
Okay.
I did some nice meditation, got to sit down, and get the breath right. And yeah, it's feeling good. The day is great already.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love hearing that, man.
hmm hmm So, man, bro, is this you've done other lives on here. I've seen other lives that you've done, but have you other done interviews and sessions with folks as well?
Nuh-uh.
Okay.
I might have done that like a couple of times, but not here recently. It's been a minute.
Okay. Okay. Because I know that you're amongst the circles. Like we got the same friends when it comes to like Nick Caputo, Taylor
Mm-hmm.
Budd, Abu
Mm-hmm.
Shadi.
Oh
hmm
yeah, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely.
hmm Yeah. And when did you come in contact with them?
Um, well, I came in contact with like Abu Shadi and Taylor Budd through like Nick, but I
Okay.
met Nick on here like at basically the beginning of both our journeys, like when we first like
Okay.
started our page and everything. So like,
hmm
yeah,
hmm
we've been knowing each other like since the beginning. I met a lot of people through him.
Okay. Okay. Nick Caputo. Yeah, man. Shout out to Grub from the Garden.
Most
And
definitely, that's my boy.
so when you say in the beginning, when was the beginning for you? Like when was the start of, I guess, your health journey or
Mm.
this new chapter?
I would say around 2018.
Okay.
Um, when I graduated, when I graduated from college. So
hmm
that's when I actually like went vegan when I was in like college, but I wasn't able
hmm
to like pay for it and everything. So I
hmm
just see like the small changes it made, you
hmm
know. So when I actually got out of school, that's when I actually got like deep into studies like for myself, you know,
Okay.
instead of like just hearing what everybody else was saying. I started studying everything like for myself, and that's when I got into like Dr. Robert Morris, on air, Sabi, and all
hmm
that. So I just been going from there.
Wow. Wow. So you started studying, you were doing research. Was there something that happened in your life or maybe a certain direction you were headed in that you were dissatisfied with or that you wanted to go another way or
Mm,
what was the catalyst for that kind of a change?
I don't know. It's kind of like really, it's more. I would say it's more on the subconscious level, just like something I didn't even know that recently's been like brought aware to my conscious self. Is like
hmm
like losing people. You know what I'm saying? That could still be here if they took care of themselves. You know.
hmm
So that's
hmm
really like once I actually got into the journey, that's when I started asking myself like, why is this so important? Why am I actually doing this?
hmm
Then I thought about the people that I'm like, dang, they could still be here. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
And then that's when I learned like, well, everything starts with self. So that's when I started, healing myself. And then through that journey, I was able to heal others, or that others would come to me. And that's like, dang, like, what are you doing? They can just like feel the energy and the aura being different. They can see like the skin, they can see like I definitely wasn't the same person, obviously, like a few years ago. So there's like, whoa,
hmm
like something's changing. Like, can you help me out?
hmm hmm
Yeah,
Wow. So family and friends, like they started noticing changes in you.
most definitely.
Wow. Wow. Did they notice the changes before you did? Like, did they see the things that were changing within you before you saw it in yourself?
I kind of feel like they did because I'm very tough on myself. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of the times I'm just like, I'm constantly improving. I'm like, oh man, I gotta improve more. And they're like, no, like, well, you done came a long way. And then that's when I take a step back. I'm like, whoa, I actually kind of have. You know what I'm saying? So I'm learning to be more gentle, kind, and loving with myself too as well.
hmm That's important, man. That's important. Definitely, like they say, self-love is not selfish, and self-care. If we have more self-care, the world would definitely be, a different place where people take care of themselves. We can't take care of other people unless we take care of ourselves. You
Yeah,
got to
most
fill up your
definitely.
cup. So was there someone in your immediate family that you said that that passed away, or had ailments or illness, or anything that that really affected you in a way that allowed you to change like that?
Yeah, my aunt. So, but she passed away like at a young age. But then, like, you know, looking down the road, I'm like, man, it was one of the people that was closest to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a other couple like aunts pass away too and everything
Mm-hmm.
like that. And then just like, you know, friends, and everybody doesn't have to pass away, you know, in my eyes, to actually like not be living. You know, it's
Right.
just a lot of people like close to me. I see, I'm like, man, like, because you know, when you heal, you can actually feel people's energy. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, that's why it's so tough to be around people that's not taking care of themselves, because you can feel their energy. You're
Mm-hmm.
consciously aware of what they're not aware of, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's tough because that's why I have to separate myself a lot.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So your aunts, are you saying like the way that they passed, that it could have been prevented?
Most definitely.
Okay. 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 So it was due to like the lifestyles.
Yeah, lifestyles. Really, I feel just not being aware of how like the body actually works, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because you go to a doctor, they give you a pill, a medication, or a lot of times I feel people pass away because they go to a doctor and doctor be like, you have 6 months to live. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And it's just
Mm-hmm.
like that just kills people's spirit because they really
Right.
think like it's no other way, you know?
Right. Right. So they don't know that they can heal themselves. Like they don't
Most
know that.
definitely.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. So I'm assuming that being able to heal yourself and learning about, you know, becoming raw vegan and different lifestyles and different dietary changes, this was not the knowledge that you learned in college. Was that correct?
It all. It
Okay.
all. Yeah, it all. It all. This
Mm-hmm.
was knowledge I had to go and find myself, you know.
Right.
But it was
Right.
still, what's crazy is this knowledge has always been right in front of my face, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's not there, you know.
Right. Right. So who was, I guess, you talked about the Arnolds, the Dr. Sebis. Who was the first kind of influence that impacted you in a way that you were really drawn to that information?
I think it was Dr. Robert Morse. Like, I came across like his book on detoxification and
Mm-hmm.
speaking on fruits. So he was the
Mm-hmm.
first person I really like came across. And then that's when like that led me to like the alkaline lifestyle and Dr. Sebi. And
Mm-hmm.
then I heard a lot of people speaking on like Arnold Eric too, because the mucusless
Mm-hmm.
diet and everything like that.
Right. Right. And that's crazy because, you know, coming up, well, I didn't even know about mucus. I didn't know about all
Yeah.
this stuff. Like, I was eating so many of the mucus forming foods and so many of the, you know, like everything that was normal for me. I didn't even know about detoxification. Like, I didn't know about, I mean, for me, constipation was normal. Indigestion was normal. Like, all
Man.
that stuff was normal for me because we had the mac and cheese. I was very carnivorous, and I was eating like all the animal products.
Hmm.
So when did you really see the power within you, your body, your energy, your aura? Like, when did you really see that power within the things that you were consuming?
When I actually got into like juicing, so that's something I'm big on, is like juicing. When I actually got into juicing, I'm like, whoa. Oh, my phone paused. So it's like when I got into juicing, you know, when you first do a fast, your first thing is, my first thing was like, how am I gonna go a day without eating? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been eating every day since I've been here. How am I gonna go a day without eating? Like, I'm a die.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing people do. I was like, I'm a die. And then I actually went without eating. I'm just like, well, I got so much energy. This
Yeah.
is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is weird. So I'm just like, hold on, maybe I wasn't taught the truth. You know what I'm saying? And like, one of the biggest things I noticed about fasting when it comes to like eating and everything, I noticed is like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with all that energy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, what am I gonna do with all this energy? Because, you know, I'm used to routine living. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Eat lunch, eat dinner. And it's just like, if I'm not in that routine, then everything's off, you know? So it was just like, fasting was just like a big change. And it just makes you look at life in a completely different way, because it's just like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't eat, but it's not as important as people like make it. There's so much more to life than just eating. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And also what
Yeah.
I notice is, you know, consuming food is not the only way you can eat. Like energy on this live is
Mhm.
eating. Everything really is food, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. You know, there's so many forms of nourishment, so many kinds of consumption, and food is just one form, you
Mm,
know. It's not
mm-hmm.
saying that you don't get a modicum of energy, but there's energy everywhere, you know, in
Man,
everything that we do, all sorts of dynamics. So, oh my gosh, brother, like I love how you describe that feeling, you know, when at first you said that you kind of had a fear, right?
yeah.
And I do feel like we all instinctually, if we've been programmed, if we've installed certain things within our operating system of the fear behind lack or the fear
Mm,
behind scarcity or not
mm,
having enough, you know, and like, am I gonna die? You know, that thought came to you.
yeah.
What's gonna happen? So how did you push through that fear?
Man, honestly, like I just did it. You know, like I noticed like was the only way to basically the deafest fear is certain when you face your fears. Like I'm like, man, the only way I'm gonna actually get through this is if I actually like face it. And then what I realized is a lot of times the fears that I'm creating in my mind don't even exist. I'm like,
Mm,
die, go one day without food. And I'm like, die, like, do you really think you need that? I'm like, that was a crazy thought. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
I was like, wow, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And asking yourselves those kind of questions like, where did that thought came from? You know, like who taught me that?
Man,
When did I subscribe to that? You know, when did I
yeah,
start to believe that and receive that and perceive that, you know?
that's very true.
So my goodness, man. And then when you talk about, well, the energy, all the abundance of energy that starts to flow through you and to you when you start to let something go, like they say, less is more, and you
Yeah.
start to see that. I found that for me as well at first, and for a lot of people, it can become uncomfortable
Mm,
because you don't know what to do with all that energy.
man.
So it's like
Hey, for real.
so did you have to get creative? Because I know in that vibration, when you're at a high vibration, especially when you're, you know what I'm saying, like you said, we're professional eaters. We know how to eat. We're good
Hmm.
at it. We've been doing it every day of our lives. So we're used to levels of sedation. We're used to levels of, you know, like the itis, you know, like they call it.
Man,
So how were you able to be able to find things to do with all that energy instead of what most people usually do is go back to eat because they're like, this is too much, you know?
man, I don't know. I hope it's makes sense. It's just like I was just it for some reason it just made it easier to like enjoy because I'm just like it definitely brought creativity to my mind, but also brought to my mind like let's try something new because you know like fasting was new to me. I'm like
Mm-hmm.
wow, you know maybe new isn't so bad, you know because a lot of times we just get stuck at being comfortable. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And we think like trying something new is bad, but it's just like I wasn't satisfied or I wasn't happy where I was at. So it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the worst thing I could have did was like stay there. So I'm just like, wow, like this was new. Let me try
Mm-hmm.
something else that's new, you know? And so that's really what got creative. And then I'm just like, whoa, like I actually can help others do this as well, you know?
Right, right. Wow, bro. So were there also levels of detox that you started to go through when you started juicing? Like were there things that you saw like come out of the body? Were there times when you know, because I heard you once you talked about embracing the ups and downs, embracing the
Mm,
highs and lows. Did that start to come about as well?
yeah, like most definitely, like, you know, me, um, I don't face a lot of detox symptoms, you know, like once you learn how to open your elimination channels, like I think a lot of times people mistake detox symptoms for emotional release. You know, I
Mm,
tell people, what I tell people is like, you know, detoxing, you know, depending on like, you know, who you're working with, like to me, detoxing is easy. The
mm,
part that's tough is facing your emotions, you know,
mm,
because getting into like the elements and everything, emotion is water, you
mm-hmm,
know, so it's just like what people forget, um, is what's up under all that waste and toxins, is emotions that we've been suppressed since we
Wow.
were born that we didn't even know. And
Wow.
so that's the ups and down parts, to where, you know, you're going through healing and you may feel like crying, or you may feel like smiling out of nowhere and you don't even know why, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the toughest part is like the emotional release. And that's when it's just like facing the ups and downs, because it's just like you don't know where those emotions are. You don't know where they got stuck in the body at the time where you suppressed them, you know. So
Right.
you don't
Right.
know when they're going to get released.
Wow. That's so important for people to know, brother, because I know that you also you offer trauma release sessions, right?
Most definitely.
So with that emotional trauma release, what have you discovered within, within others and also within yourself when it comes to releasing those emotions that have been stored for so long?
It's like it can get very intense,
Mm-hmm.
you know, during the time, but you don't realize actually once you actually let go, you know, like how much better you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like you feel so much more space in your body to actually allow things in. You know,
Mm-hmm.
too many times, the reason we can't really like move forward is because we're holding on to so much baggage. So it's like a baggage that's been released, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. And were there other things that started to come in to your reality as well when you created more space internally? Because like they say, as above, so below, as
Mm,
within, so without. So what started to change in your external reality when you changed on the internal?
most definitely. Like just speaking on parasites, like I feel like people like naturally started to like disappear that I
Mm,
felt like were parasitic in my life, because, you know, like the parasites started to basically be eliminated in my body. So it started to eliminate parasites that's in my life.
okay.
Whether that's people, you know, whether that's certain habits, you know. And I was actually thinking the other day, like the internal and external go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like sometimes, because people don't know what's going on in the inside, you know, they have to actually start with the external, like start eliminate things in your external. That's when people is just like cut out red meat or
Mm-hmm.
cut out pork,
Mm-hmm.
because then you're eliminating the external, which means you're going to eliminate some in the internal, because they go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, brother. To see that correlation and that connection, I think it's transformational. It's definitely transformational on all spectrums to see
Hmm.
things clear up and clear out. And like you said, people were able to exit from your life. You didn't even have to ask them to leave. They just started to leave on their own. It's kind of like one of my friends told me it's kind of like if you're riding an elevator, in your elevator of life, as you are rising, you know, the people around you will get off on their floor.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? The elevator will be like, ding, all right, that's my stop. That's my floor. Like, ding, okay, that's me right here. All right.
Yeah.
And they start to get off.
Uh-huh.
So, man, man, oh man. So what was one of the hardest things when you talk about cutting things out? What was one of the hardest things for you to stop or for you to cut out when it came to that?
I would say, I don't know if this was counting cut it out, but like a big thing that I learned is like healing. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Because like I'm a big giver, which means
Mm-hmm.
like people that are close to me, you know, if they're not taking care of themselves, I would try to like fit myself in their shoes to do the
Mm-hmm.
work for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not accepting that they got to do the work themselves. So that's
Right.
been something like here recently that I've been cutting out a lot, is like learning to accept, you know, that everybody's responsible for themselves. Because, you
Mm-hmm.
know, sometimes you do love people so much, it's just like, man, if I can go through this process for you, I would. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
realizing like I can't. So I'm accepting to like learn to let some people just like suffer in peace.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So it's like accepting that everyone is on their own path, everyone has their own journey, everyone's living out their own karma in a way.
Most definitely. Yeah.
So taking a step back to not step into somebody's shoes and walk for them.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Because with that, like a tough thing like about healing is like I would work so hard to like heal myself. But when I tried to put myself in their shoes, it felt as if I didn't heal myself, because I
Mm,
was just taking on everything that came with them, because I could feel what they couldn't, you know?
Right. Right. Wow. And were there also, Will, like people in your family or friends or your circles that didn't understand your journey and maybe had opinions on what you were doing? Like they
Oh
kind of,
man,
okay, go ahead, go ahead.
that's everybody. You know what I'm saying? My mama like, man, you getting too small, da da da. I'm just like, why do you fast? Like, dang, I can't make this for you no more. I can't do this. Like, man, what are you doing? You know, like, because even when I was in school, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like I started consuming like juices and everything. They like, bro, that's weird, bro. Like, you know, so I'm just like, I started to see like, okay, I know what comes with this. But it's
Mm-hmm.
what's crazy is those same people that was like in college that would say that now hit me up like, yo, can you help me out? Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So it's just like, you got to embrace one thing is just like, embrace everything that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at both
Wow.
sides of the spectrum, you know?
Both sides, both sides. I love that. Wow. So sometimes you're saying that people who were once your critics, in time they became your clients.
Yep.
You
Yep.
then they were coming like, yo, can you help? Like, yo, I got some, okay. Wow.
Yeah. Cause it's like they start to, like at the time I wasn't really teaching. So
Okay.
they just see me basically taking different actions that they didn't know what was.
Right.
But then when they actually started keeping up with me, you know, it's like, yo, like this stuff is actually starting to make some kind of sense to where it didn't make sense at first. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
just like that led them to like reaching out, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and then we got to conversation, you know, based on where they were at in their journey. And then, yeah, it just went from there. Some came clients, you know, some it was enough information that I gave, you know, to help them out.
Yeah. Wow. So people who look up to like Big Will, as it were, like, man, like Will's doing this, Will's doing that. What do you feel like was the most impact? Was it your consistency that you just never stopped, you just kept going, or was it the things that they saw? Because I know that I have friends to this day who are like brothers. They're like my brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and what they say has impacted them the most is seeing where I am now, but knowing where I came from. You
Man, yeah,
know?
most definitely. Yeah, I definitely would say, you know, the consistency of even when it like got tough or like, you know, the discipline of not following the pack,
Okay.
you know, and then actually seeing the results, like seeing the results of the pack and then seeing the results of me not following the pack. And then
Okay.
it makes them think like, whoa, like, okay. Cause what I always tell people is discipline equals freedom.
Mm, mm. Man, man, I love that. So, were there times when you did feel like the odd one out, or maybe you did feel like this was a lonely journey? Maybe you didn't see anybody around you who was doing the same things you were doing. Were there times where you just had to kind of pioneer in a way?
Mm-hmm. I still feel like I'm doing that in a point. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, you know, with this lifestyle, depending on like how deep you get into it, you're always gonna be an odd one out. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that's where I'm just like, I done told myself like I know what comes with this. You know, that's one of the biggest things because it's just like never getting to some to where like you don't know what fully comes with it. You know, like you
Right.
can't just look at the part of that you like. You gotta look at the other part, the opposite end of the spectrum. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's like the con of things, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Looking at all sides, both sides of the coin, being able to see from different angles. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, perfectly said.
Oh man, that's important, man. So when it comes to breath work, when did the breath come in, and when did that really start to become something that you felt, okay, I need to adopt this. This should be part of my lifestyle, conscious breathing.
Mm. Actually, from reading this book, it's called The Tale of Health, Sex, and Longevity.
Oh,
So,
okay. Is that Mantak Chia?
mm,
Who is that? Who
um,
is that? The
let's
Tao of
see.
Sex and Longevity. That's not Mantak Chia, is it? Well, anyways, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have the book over there, but yeah, they had like a whole practice or a whole chapter dedicated to breath work, you know.
Okay.
And then like I just started doing some of the breath work. So I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, I'm just like, huh, why did I never pay attention to breathing when this is what I do the most? Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so then after I actually took Nick's breathwork boot camp,
Mm-hmm.
and it helped me even more. I'm just
Man.
like, dang. And then I just came to see like, whoa, this is the most important. Like, I can, if I don't wake up and do some breath work or something, like my day's just like, it don't feel right. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? Because it's just like, they call it breath to spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I feel if I'm not doing breath work, I'm not connecting with my higher self, my higher being. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Too stuck in like this realm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that connection too. It's like when you're inspired, you're in spirit, you know?
Mm,
The
I like
breath
that.
is in your body. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Wow, wow. So the breath work, that was powerful for you. So when you took his boot camp, shout out to Nick, Nick Caputo with the boot camp, what was like was it the feeling of elation, or just the feeling of peace, or the feeling of vibrancy? Like what can you describe the feeling you got when you first did that breathwork session?
It's really just a feeling of like peace. Like
Okay.
I notice I'm able to basically handle situations that would normally stress me out like crazy. I'm able to just like smile and laugh. I'm like, whoa, like this, maybe that was me that was making this situation more than it was, because I'm able to actually calm and relax, like my nervous system. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you're
Mm-hmm.
calm, you're able to make better sound decisions,
Yes.
instead of making like decisions in like a stressed state. So for me, it's just like a sense of peace.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. It's like they say, well, like when emotions run high, the logic runs low. You know,
What? Hey, that's
we're
deep. I
we're
like that.
not able to make those sound decisions, as you say, whenever we're unsound, you know,
Mm.
whenever we're at dis-ease. Like you said in one of your videos, you talked about dis-ease.
Yeah, most definitely.
Wow. So you notice those situations, like maybe somebody calls you out your name or cuts you off on the highway. And if you've done some breath work, or if you've put yourself in that state, that parasympathetic, you were able to make better judgments.
Yeah, most definitely. Make better judgments like, well, this isn't that big of a deal. Like it's really not. Like if somebody cuts me off on the highway, I'm just like, because throughout healing and throughout breath work, I became to understand myself better, which also made me want to understand others better. I'm like, well, this person may be in a rush, or they may have something going on, or they may have lashed out because they're having a bad day. Maybe they just need some love and compassion. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, like through the breath, I became more understanding and aware of myself, which also makes me become more understanding and aware of others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, it's all connected, you know? It's like you realize we're all one.
We
Yeah.
really are.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So you were able to not take things personally. You know?
Most definitely, because I know how somebody treats me is really just how they feel about themselves or how they treat themselves. So,
Wow. Wow. That level of reflection, man. They say that there are three ways to acquire wisdom, they say. One of them is through reflection, another is through
mhm,
imitation, and then another one is through experience. And they
mhm,
say that experience is by far the harshest teacher, because it's the only one that gives you the lesson after it gives you the test, you know?
mm,
Yeah.
okay. All
So
right. I
it's,
like, okay.
so I know you can
Yeah.
resonate where there are times in life where it's like you are tested, and then after you go through that test, they say, okay, now here's the lesson, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So what's been one of those times where life has tested you, and because of your knowledge of these, these techniques, these methods, that you've been able to go through that test, undeterred or unscathed, so to speak.
Mm. I would really say, the most difficult test is, like with my parents, like not listening to me. And like, if they face like certain health problems, it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, you know, basically like one thing my pops told me is like, I'm responsible for myself. So it's just like, I kind of reflected that on him down the road. Like, I'm like, okay, you're responsible for you. All I can do is give you this knowledge, give you this wisdom, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and regardless, like regardless of what you do with it, I did my part. Even though it can be frustrating, But that's my biggest challenge, because, you know, like outside of like the breath, I'm learning like life is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Life is amazing when you take out all the external things from decisions that other people are making that really have nothing to do with you. You're allowing it to have something to do with you, you know?
Wow. Allowing for life to surprise you, you know, for life to be amazing. Yeah. I love that. I love that. It's like, yeah, those epiphany moments, those realizations would come to me too during breathwork sessions where, like you said, you get that overwhelming sense of peace, that serenity, that sense of calm where you just feel like all is well, you know, like
Most
what
definitely.
was I tripping about? Like, what was I even worried about? Like, like,
It's so crazy, because even now I'm still like, you know, it's still a journey, still breaking limited beliefs. It's like the breath has taught me like, yo, life doesn't have to be all hard. It actually can be easy. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I be making it hard. I'm like, so it'd be crazy when something new. I'm like, wow, it ain't no way life could be this easy. So now I go do something to make it a little bit tougher, you know? So I'm like, nah, like that's one of the biggest things is learn that life can be easy. You know, you can have fun.
It can, especially with that attitude. You know what I'm saying? It's like they say your attitude determines your altitude. You know, how far you go, how far you soar, how far you rise. You know, it can be a reflection. It can
Most
be a
definitely.
reflection of the way you see, the way you perceive, your perspective. So, man, there was something I read that you put on your page, and it was talking about like wake up, Neo. And you remember there was a post, it was kind of like a tweet where you talked about there were things in life that you had realized were lies, like the feeling that we've been lied to. And the Matrix is my favorite film of all time. So when you said wake up, Neo, that clicked, you know, in my mind. So
Yeah.
what was one of the wake up, Neo moments for you when you realized like, oh wow, you know?
I'm trying to think. What was the most? Really, it's just I think like that everything has to be hard. That, you know, like life, you know, like you can't enjoy life. Like you have to do life this way. Life has to be hard. You know, it's just like that was the biggest thing for me, because it's just like learning throughout the process. Like life can be like very easy. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason life was hard was basically because I wasn't taking care of myself, which made it harder for me to attract the things that I truly wanted. And since my vessel wasn't, you know, it's clean, I was attracting things that I thought I wanted, but I didn't really want.
Okay. So you didn't really want them, but you were attracting them. What was one of the things you attracted that you thought you wanted and you end up not wanting?
Like, I mean, like, just like used to like playing sports, like want to go to like NFL, and just like realizing like that's everything's not what it seems once you get up into that spectrum, you know? Like it's a lot of politics, a lot of stuff behind the scenes, thinking like, you know, like being a black kid, like this is the only way out when there's so many more ways out. And it's just like, yo, I'm glad I actually didn't go that road. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't be the person who I am today. You know?
Wow. So you can be thankful today. You can even have gratitude.
Most definitely.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Brother, you also have a YouTube channel, and I seen there was a video on there titled The Real Law of Attraction.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
for anyone who's never heard, if you recall making that video, what is the real law of attraction to you?
So it's just basically I think it's a lot of like toxic positivity going around. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not big on labels. Like I'm not big on calling things positive, negative. I'm big on just saying like it is what it is. Right. So it's just like a lot of people are trying to like be toxic positive when the universe knows how you truly feel. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So
yes.
And once you start understanding laws, it's easier to manifest the things that you want. You know, and what I talked about in that video was, I was like, yeah, it's easy. What people don't realize with the law of attraction is you got to put everything together. You know what I'm saying? People think like for instance, people just be like, I want to be a millionaire. And that's
Mm-hmm.
like, that's cool, but if you waking up and do things that a minimum wage person does, then your act, you know, your words are saying this, but your actions are saying this. It's not
Mm-hmm.
going to work out. And then it's just like, that's just going to confuse a person because they're like, well, I'm saying this.
Right.
Why am I getting this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to put it all together. And then the biggest thing is like, you got to feel it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like many people are saying things that they don't truly feel.
Right.
And they're not understanding like everything that's going on. If that does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. That makes perfect sense. You know, and thank you for breaking that down, brother. I appreciate that, because it's a wonderful thing to come to that realization of that disconnect. Like you said, there's a disconnect between your results and your actions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the cause and the effect, the steps you take, and wherever you're going, the direction you're headed. You know, it's like, it's no wonder, kind of like how they say the definition of insanity: doing the same things over and over,
Mm-hmm.
expecting a different result. You know, but you haven't changed your course, you haven't changed the actions that you're taking. So you're saying you discovered that, you realized that on your own.
Mm-hmm. I realized, you know, too many people think that they're responding to life when life is really responding to them. So it's just like when it comes to law of attraction, like, you know, people's like, man, why is this happening? It's just like, well, you may not be consciously aware of actually what you're putting out to actually make the universe respond to you in that way. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, you know, with the law of attraction, the universe always wants what's best for you.
Mm.
So sometimes it's responding to you to change. Like it'll make something happen so you can actually learn the lesson so you can actually start creating what you want, you know?
Yes, yes, yes. Ah, man, this fires me up. Like,
Hell yeah.
it's so true. It's so true. It's like you say, it's not all positive.
Mm-hmm.
There's negative in there. You know, we work with positive and negative. We work with the light and dark. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you know, the child with the toy. In order to make the toy work, you got to have the batteries facing opposite. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it takes the negative and positive to make the toy light up.
Most definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So wow, so you've been able to work with both sides, you know, and understanding that the universe works with both sides in order to get us to the highest outcome.
Most definitely. And another thing is just appreciating both sides too, because that's big when you don't appreciate, like, you know, it's like to me, it's just like it's all in the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell people it's just like you can cry when you're happy, you can cry when you're sad. Which feeling would you rather feel? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like really appreciating things being one and the same, you know?
Mm-hmm. Wow. So the feeling is the secret, you know. What are we feeling? What are the emotions, the energy in motion, you know, that's
Mm-hmm.
going through our body? And circling back as well to what you said earlier, you know, a lot of the times those emotions are the things that are buried deep, even below the things that we have or have not eliminated, you know. So man, thank you for
Mm-hmm.
that breakdown, thank you for that message, because I needed to hear
Most
that as
definitely.
well. I know somebody else needed to
Appreciate
hear that. Oh, we got healing love. Shout out to healing love. Hey, she said gratitude is key. Starry said, Starry 33, we got to do the work, not just sit back. You have to change the way you look at things so the things you look at change. Oh, I love that.
it.
I love
Definitely.
that. Hmm. Gratitude, gratitude. So, you know, with the way that you utilize your platform, you know, I love the positive messages that you put out. You talk about, you know, staying hydrated, hydration. You talk about fasting. You talk about breath work. Has there been a change in the way that you interact with folks on the platform, or the way that you choose to project the
Mm.
energy that you put out?
Really just being 100% myself. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Knowing that everybody's not going to resonate with me. You know, even as I get to posting more here in a little bit, it's just like actually telling people both sides of the spectrum of what comes with healing. You know what I'm saying? Because you see the smiles, you see the glowing skin, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't see what it took to get here. You don't see the nights where it's just like, you know, like where you was crying or nights where you was confused. You know,
Right.
so it's just like people think healing's easy, but it's just like it's really everything. Everything's not going to be like you said, like positive.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's going to be tough, and sometimes you're just going to have to push through, because if you don't push through, you're just going to go back to the self that you dislike so much.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Yeah, it's like they see your glory, but they don't know your story.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know what you had to go through to get there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's another big one too, Brother Will, when it comes to comparison. I think people get caught up in comparison, and maybe you've seen this in your own journey,
Mm-hmm.
where we might compare our chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 20, you know?
Mm.
Like somebody's gotten to where they've gotten, and we say, well, I should be there by now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Do you
that's
do you
definitely
find
true.
that you've done that, or do you find like where we get caught up in that comparison game?
Yeah, I do. That's something I'm teaching my mom. Like, comparison is a thief of joy,
Mm-hmm.
because when we compare, we always we compare to something that's going to make us feel less than, like, oh, well, this person had it like this, or this person had it like that. We never actually compare to a person that actually that came from something harder than the situation we came from, because then it's going to make us actually have to take responsibility, because we were like, well, what about this person? They had it harder than you. And
Mm-hmm.
they didn't complain their way out. You know what I'm saying? They just make do with what they had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, like I can recall stories. Wow, you remind me of stories like like a long road to freedom, like Nelson Mandela or Malcolm X, the autobiography. Like you reading these autobiographies and stories of people who made a way out of no way, you
Mm-hmm.
know, who despite the opposition, despite the odds, were able to, you know, manifest their own destiny. So yeah, it's like when you hear about things like that, you almost have a sense of what's my excuse, you know?
Really? Yeah, most definitely. That's how it is for me. And it's just like, also a big thing that I'm learning to understand during the journey is like, the universe is gonna give you things when the time is right.
Mm,
Because
mm,
sometimes we ask for things, if we received in this moment, we wouldn't even know what to do with it.
mm,
You know
mm,
what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like it wouldn't even be there. We wouldn't appreciate it. Instead,
Right,
when it shows up at the exact right time, we can appreciate it a lot more.
right, right. Wow. So what to you is that sense of divine timing? Like, what does divine timing mean to you?
Mm, that's a good question. Divine timing is like, that's a good question. It's actually making me think. Divine timing to me is just like, when noticing that time doesn't exist.
Okay.
So divine timing is outside of time.
Okay.
So, you know, if I want something, say I want something to show up at 3 o'clock today. If it doesn't show up at 3, that doesn't mean it's not divine timing, because time doesn't exist. It's just
Mm,
going to show up when it shows up, you know? And it's like, because I just got back from a trip to Florida,
mm-hmm,
and it's just like, I've been planning on to go to Florida for a while,
mm-hmm.
but I didn't. But when I just went for that trip, it felt divine timing. I'm like, wow, this is everything I manifested. Like, I actually seen this stuff in my head before I actually got here. So I'm
Yeah.
like, even though I was planning on going here before, I planned on going here before many times. Now I'm actually here. The timing is right, because I
Yeah.
felt like if I would have went there before, I wouldn't have appreciated the things. I wouldn't have did what I needed to do. So to
Mm-hmm,
me, like, it was divine timing. It might not be
mm-hmm,
on the chord that I thought, but it was on the chord that it needed to be.
mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. So it's like whenever we're holding on to what we think is divine timing, or what we think would be the right time to receive, we're holding on to an expectation of something. But you're saying if we don't receive it in that moment, or if we did receive it, we might not appreciate it when we got it.
Most
But
definitely.
but but we get it at just the time that we're supposed to.
Most definitely.
Okay. Okay. Because it is hard to sometimes let go of that expectation, but we do it all the time with other things. Like when you put in an order on Amazon, you're not thinking, "Oh, my package is not it's not on its way." You know it's on the way,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't worry about it.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, but when it comes to, I guess, the big things, like you said, you visualize. You knew you were gonna take a trip.
Mm-hmm.
But then when the time finally came that you did take it, even though it wasn't the time that you planned for it, like they say, whenever we make plans, you know, it's kind of like God laughs when we make plans. Like, aha, like you thought, oh, you thought that's how it was going to go down. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then it actually happens the way it needs to happen, and we may never know why. Yeah, we may never know why. Wow, wow. So that takes courage, I think, to be able to step away from the need to know everything, you know?
That's
Yeah.
very big. Yeah, because that's very big. That's something, you know, with myself needing to know everything, because it's just like the adventures is actually in the uncertainty.
Mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm.
if I actually said everything that could happen with my life now, I'd be like, for what? And I knew for certain that was gonna happen. I'd be like, for what? What's the fun in that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the fun in that?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Where's
just
the
like,
adventure? Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just like I'm learning to actually enjoy like uncertainty. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I might like want things to go this way, but they actually might go this way. And that's
Mm-hmm.
okay too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's okay. Like, we act like if it doesn't go the exact way we want it to, that's not okay, but it's okay, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. So just like you said in a post you put previous, you know, being able to embrace the ups and the downs, you know,
Mm-hmm.
being able to roam in the zone of the unknown.
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because to me, the downs is just as important as the ups, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because we wouldn't even know what up is if we didn't know what down is, you know? So it's very, you know,
Exactly, exactly. It gives it meaning, you
most
know?
definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Man, that's so liberating too. It's liberating. It's a sense of freedom as well for a person to be able to say, that's okay, you know? I might not feel my best right now, but that's okay. You know? It's like I'm going through something right now, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Like this too shall pass. Yeah.
Yeah, like I definitely like agree with that, because that's something it's something I've been telling myself like lately. Like, I know, even though I don't know everything that's gonna happen, I know at the end of the day everything's gonna work out as it should. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, like, if I'm going through something, I'm like, man, why are you even stressing when you already know it's gonna work out? You just don't know
Mm-hmm.
how it's gonna work out, but you know it's gonna work out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
that actually can actually bring like a smile to my face, because I'm like, yo, I'm good. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so, like, let's just work our way through this.
Mm-hmm. And when you think good and you speak good and you feel good, you attract good.
Most definitely.
I love it, man. I love it. So, man, Brother Will, what services do you provide for people, and where can people reach out to you if they want to get in contact, if they want to get in touch with you? Because I know you got, you know, some different things that you offer for folks.
Mm-hmm. So I offer one-to-one. Locally, well, I actually do ship like juice cleanses too, but my main services are one-to-one. About to come out with a breathwork course,
Mm-hmm.
you know, where they can
Nice.
take breathwork with me. So those are my main two focuses right now, is one-to-one coaching and a group breathwork course.
Awesome.
And you
Awesome.
can reach me on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, TikTok, and I'm currently finishing up my website, so that'll be here soon, where everything's gonna be on there.
Nice, nice, bro. And I know you also have like there's like a guide, like a breathwork guide or
Uh,
some kind of guide.
Yeah, I got a breathwork. I got a breathwork guide. Basically, it's just beginning to understand the breath, to where basically it just takes you through like what the breath is, you know, what emotions are, and then it has like 3 breathworks in there, you know, just to get you started to do.
Nice, nice, man. So the whole package, bro. So one of the things that I love that you say, Will, whenever you say understand, I love that. I love that. It's
Understand?
something, yeah, understand is something I want to bring more into my vocabulary, you know, into my vernacular. Understand. What
Mm-hmm.
would you say is the difference between understand, understand, and overstand?
Mm. So understand, like, it's tough, because like understand is just like, if you go to like looking at the real meaning of words, it's like if you're under, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
But understand is just like me speaking to you, like we're on the same, level. And I feel the time you need to use like overstand. I would use overstand when like I'm teaching somebody something new, like maybe about the breath or about the body. I want to make sure that they overstand it, you know what I'm saying, in order to take the steps that they need.
Okay, so that's like an all-encompassing. Okay, okay. So in order to take the steps that we need, we must overstand. Yeah, not just understand, understand, but we need to overstand.
Yes.
I like that. I like that, bro. I like that, bro. Do you also have a fasting group as well? I think it's like a private little.
Oh yeah, community. Yeah, I'm rebuilding, like, so it's gonna just be a community on like basically like fasting and putting like more information that Instagram or something may censor. You know what I'm saying? So just putting like more information out there that I think is definitely needed.
Awesome, awesome. And so that might be on another platform, I guess, you know, maybe like
Telegram.
Telegram, yeah, Telegram's great for that. Awesome, awesome, man. Well, shout out to you, brother. Like, thank you for all that you spoke on. Thank you for all the gems you dropped in here. We had so much love come up in the room over here. Man, shout out to Healing Love. Healing Love's been showering it. It's been raining it down in here.
Gratitude.
Much gratitude, much gratitude. So much love. And man, it's been great meeting you. I don't know if people even realize this was our first kind of interaction on here.
It really was.
So, man, I appreciate your energy, and we will definitely keep rising, man. Definitely keep doing what you're doing. It's powerful. It's powerful, the messages that you're putting out there and allowing people to see that the body is the healer, the breath is the revealer, and that, you know, that we can do these things. We actually have the power more than we realize, that the only limitation is our imagination, you know?
Most definitely. Hey, thank you so much for having me. Much gratitude and much love to you. I appreciate it.
Of course. Of course. All right, man. Take care, and we'll do it again.
All right, you too. Take care, brother.
All right. Awesome.